sometimes with all of this that's going on, all the time where we've had to be isolated, the song seems to be truer than ever. You gotta walk that lonesome valley. You gotta walk it by yourself. Nobody here gonna walk it for you. You gotta walk it by yourself. Well, Daniel was a Bible hero. He was a prophet, tried and true. In a den of hungry lions, prove what faith can do for you. You gotta walk that lonesome valley. You gotta walk by yourself. Nobody here gonna walk it for you. You gotta walk it by yourself. You know, it feels like a little bit of that. It was such a different Easter this year. It was really good. I got up early in the morning and went for a long walk in the sunshine. And it was so different for me, though. I prayed for you, and then I thought about, the first time in 39 years I'm not actually physically preaching in the church building. It was just a different experience for me. But it was a good day. There were some sad things. I didn't get to see some of my kids. I didn't get to tickle my grandchildren and to play with them and to listen to them and laugh with them. And so that was more difficult. And we didn't play our annual game of tennis baseball in the front yard with the guys. That didn't happen. I did miss out a little bit on my mom's commemorative coin search in the little plastic Easter eggs. It turned out that one year when the grandkids were there, that the adults liked it more than the kids. I'm not sure what to think totally of that, but we missed that. But I did get to do a video call with the kids that could be online, and so that was great. We did get to do a few things. I was thinking of like Pete and Jake and Bill and even Dr. Rob. We actually went out a little bit in the afternoon instead of doing our normal festivities. We planted some garden, and I did plant corn. It's true. I know it's really early, but the tribal people say if the earrings are on the corn and the dogwoods have leaves the size of a squirrel's ear, you can do it. And so I checked, and both were true. And so that was my Easter. But these are uncharted times for us, for many of you, and for me too, that we've not done this before, and it's different. And I do want to thank you. I do really want to say thank you from not just for myself, but for many of the doctors and providers, for you taking seriously the social isolation or social distancing. And I know it's really hard. It's kind of starting to wear and create a strain on people's lives, like the one I've described a little bit, and some for you more. There's lots of things you're wondering about. But this is making a difference. And be careful that when we see that it's actually keeping this virus from spreading and causing lots of extra death, when it actually works, don't be in that crowd that says, see, I told you it wasn't a big deal. I'm going to tell you what you're doing is making a difference in our community. And so keep it up. We wonder though, how's this going to affect you? How will this affect not just what's already happened, but your job or your business, or when can we start to meet in person again as a church? and how will we do that, and what will be the plans for that. And nobody really knows quite yet, but I want you to know that we're talking about it and we're planning it, and we are giving it a lot of consideration on what's going to be the best and safest way. We're going to take very, very careful advice from our doctors, many of them that you know that are part of our church and others. And we want to make sure that we don't put our most vulnerable people at risk. And this week, I'm going to begin a series of talks called How to Keep It Together While Staying Apart. And it is kind of hard to keep it together. You get kind of stressed and cranky, and you can get on each other's nerves, and you don't even know why. Sometimes it's just kind of a creeping experience of feeling that way. And the bigger thing will be, how can you use this time to be more the person that God created you to be? How can you get to be the best person, your best version of yourself through this time, instead of just kind of sinking down and in resentment or boredom or checking out? What can you do? And we're going to talk about some things you can stop doing and some things you can start doing to help you keep it together while staying apart. It's really going to be great. It's going to be important. And we'll do this until we're not apart, until the Lord shows us some new step. I just want to share two verses with you, and I was looking with them. I wrote them down here. The first verse is really this, and this is to set up what we're going to talk about on Sunday. Proverbs 25:28 says, like a city that is broken into and without walls is a man who has no control over his spirit. The picture here is, imagine there's this city, it's going around about its business. People are buying and selling and going to work, and kids are playing, and everybody's just doing their thing. And then suddenly, without really any warning, there is a crisis, a roving band of destructive bandits that rides through town and just tears everything up, creates total chaos, and everybody begins to scatter. People are forced to hold up, and some of them are forced to defend themselves, just whatever they have on hand, however they can handle it. This is the picture that Proverbs is saying, is that when you don't have control of your own spirit, your own emotions, your own inner life, if you don't, you're that person who is vulnerable like that. You're just, anything can come along, and you're just living your life, and then suddenly a pandemic happens, or something much, much smaller than this. Some other thing happens, and you feel overwhelmed. You feel knocked out by it. You feel like you're just held up, or you're super defensive. And you find that in your own inner life that fear is forcing its way in. And anger, rage is raging through the streets of your life. It's kind of like that. Maybe it's raging through the halls of your house or the rooms of your house. You find yourself shouting, and you're saying things that you normally would never say, and you're doing things that you normally would never do. And you're starting to defend yourself with things that you would never normally do. In other words, you're doing things to kind of cope with this situation that you normally wouldn't handle them that way. I was thinking about some things. Some people fight. They're ready to fight all the time. They're fighting about everything. They're complaining about everything. They're arguing about everything, whether it's on the internet or whether it's with the people that are with them. Some people hide, and we can hide in a lot of ways. When we feel threatened, we can withdraw. We can spend all of our time detached on social media. Some people escape through alcohol or drugs. And this time that we're in is creating a lot of stress in people. Mental health issues, if you struggle with that, I know it's a lot harder. People that struggle with depression, suicide rates are way, way up. Domestic violence is way, way up, because it's hard to keep it together when you're in a situation where you really have to stay apart from those things in your life that help keep you level. The current crisis, though, is your chance to learn how to rule your spirit. And you can take it. You have it right now. You say, well, it's pretty hard to do. I'm not sure how I'm going to pay the bills or what we're going to do. Well, we want to help you with that. If you let us know, we'll do what we can. Somebody asked me the other night, they said, and it was a little bit of it was a really honest question, but it was a query that I think was really valuable, which is, why do people turn to God when there's a crisis in their life, whether they're in addiction or whatever? Why do they do it? And I thought it was a pretty much a brilliant question. And it's because in those moments of crisis, that's when an individual or a group of people or a church or a family or a country, that's when we have to face the fact that our normal way of doing things hasn't defended us. It hasn't really kept us safe. It isn't working for us. It isn't bringing peace and stability in our life. Our normal ways of coping are not working. And the reason, and so then we realize, hey, I can't do it alone. And that's the great news, is that you don't have to do it alone. As a matter of fact, God never wanted you to do it alone. Now, you may not get all your questions answered about why certain things happen and certain things don't happen. But I'll tell you, but God will comfort you, and God will give you wisdom and strength and love and peace in your day-to-day life. I was looking for another scripture. It says, the name of the Lord is a strong tower. That's the nature of God. The name of the Lord is a strong tower. The righteous run into it. You run. You're scared. Yeah, you're scared. You run. You're worried. Yeah, you're worried. You run. You run toward him. You run into his nature, and you will be safe. You run to him because he provides a protection, both inward and outward, that you can't find anywhere else. He calms and composes your spirit. He really will. This Sunday, I will begin that series of talks, and we're going to talk about how to stop doing a couple things that kind of keep the feedback loop going in your own head, and what you can do in its place, how to keep together while staying apart until we can meet again in the building in one way or the other. So, one thing we'll talk about, like I said, what can you quit? There's some things that you're doing that are really pulling you down. And what can you start doing again to get you into spirit-controlled, spirit-filling practice? And I'm also going to offer a Zoom meeting on Thursday night at 7. If you're interested, it's a video kind of chat where you can come in. You don't have to stay for the whole thing. It's going to be really about questions and how people are doing, and you get to see each other. And if you're interested, you could put in the comments that you want to be sent an invitation. I'm going to try and send a lot of invitations out to those of you that I have a way to contact. And it'd be great. I meditate on this verse, and maybe we could all do that this rest of the week. It's from Nahum 1:7. It says, the Lord is good, a stronghold in the day of trouble, and he knows those who trust in him. All right? I can't wait to see you. I'm going to play you one last song before we go, just a chorus of it or maybe a verse. There's a dark and a troubled side of life. There's a bright and a sunny side too. As we go through this darkness and strife, the sunny side is always in view. Keep on the sunny side, always on the sunny side. Keep on the sunny side of life. It will help you every day. It will lighten all the way if you keep on the sunny side of life. Keep on the sunny side, always on the sunny side. Keep on the sunny side of life. It will help you every day. It will brighten all the way if you keep on the sunny side of life. We do that not because everything's perfect, but even in the dark times, we look to that. God bless you.